Chad. This is Albert. We're the Bourbon Doctors. And today we're going to talk about beer, brats, and bourbon. Three pretty good things, right? I mean, when you think about it, beer, brats, and bourbon, what gets better than that, you know?
I'll tell you what gets better than that. It's a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser that we've been working at for 4 years now.
You guys could tell us better. Now, we want to introduce our guest. This is Sherry.
Hello, Sherry Sanders Silva. I'm the Executive Director of Feeding Our Communities Partners and a big Bourbon Doctor fan.
And Holly.
I am Holly Dodge. I am one of the founders of Beer, Brats, and Bourbon with Sherry here, and a former Feeding Our Communities Partners employee, and also a huge Bourbon Doctors fan.
And also, Holly is the designer of our Bourbon Doctors logo.
Which they have on.
I love that you are representing us and we are representing you.
Exactly. Beer, Brats, and Bourbon is a fundraiser that was developed by Feeding Our Community Partners to feed kids that don't have enough food. So let's get started. Tell us how you started Beer, Brats, and Bourbon.
It started over coffee. Your beautiful wife and I and another stakeholder were having coffee and just discussing ways in which we could include a broader, I guess, attendance at some of our fundraisers. And I will say, Chad, we have to give credit to you because we had the beer and the brats down right away. We wanted a grill out that was laid back and fun. And Elaine just happened to mention that her husband was a big fan of bourbon.
Yeah, and so
it just snuck its way in
bourbon
there.
came into play. But what's it for? What does it do? What's it for?
Well, there's definitely an important purpose behind it, and that's to raise important funds to purchase food for our programming. So Feeding Our Communities Partners is a hunger relief program. We focus on youth hunger relief, and on average we're serving anywhere from 900 to 1,000 students within 5 different school districts surrounding the greater Mankato area. And so one unique thing about our program is that we do purchase the far majority of the food that we offer kiddos. And so we need funding to make that happen. And this was just a fun way for us to invite, again, a broad section of the community to come and hang out and have a good time while enjoying fine spirits.
So tell us, how can people contribute? When is Beer, Brats, and Bourbon this year? Are there tickets still available? When is it? And where is it?
Yes, so this year's event is scheduled for Thursday, June 24th. We are hosting a hybrid event, so there are on-site tickets available, a limited number, to join us on-site at our warehouse for live music, grilled fare, and of course, fine spirits. And then we are also offering both block party packages for folks to purchase the opportunity to host their own backyard gathering in support of FOCP and join us virtually, along with viewing passes as well. And all of that information is on our website.
Can you give the website?
Yes, I can. feedingandfueling.org.
Okay. And this is important, guys, because here's what I'm going to tell you. The first time I heard about this, you hear the words backpack food program. You think,
We're giving backpacks?
What does that even mean?
Backpacks to needy kids so they go to school?
Do they need a backpack? No, because you don't realize, and you guys have a better feel for this, how many kids go hungry every day in the U.S.? What percent?
Well, traditionally, 1 in 8 students are suffering from food insecurity. And that's changed dramatically.
12 to 15% roughly, but it might be even more now with COVID.
It is, and actually we've seen those numbers more like a 1 in 6.
And you take that stigma away by putting some food in their backpack and saying, hey, here's some food, so you got food tonight. That's pretty cool. You know, I mean, think about it. That's pretty cool, and that's why out there, if you're sitting in your living room or sitting somewhere watching this and saying, what the hell is this all about? That's what it's about, you know. They want to throw some food in. So, hey, throw them a 20, throw them a 50, throw them whatever you got, because it's going to help some kid that they got food. Now.
So, let me ask.
Yes.
How has the pandemic affected things? And I know, like, my kids are splitting, you know, none of them are hungry. But one's at home.
Our kids ain't going hungry.
Our kids aren't going hungry. But one's at home and 2 are at school. There are a lot of kids who are not in class now. Like, how has that affected? How has the pandemic affected Beer, Brats, and Bourbon, both from a distribution process and also, like, how has it affected the fundraiser itself?
Yeah, well, it's completely flipped our program processes upside down, as you can imagine. We typically work very closely with the schools within our program processes to get food to the backpacks of the students. Well, we have been focusing on getting food directly to the doorsteps of youth. And so we're actually packing up larger boxes of food, which again is an additional cost for us. And we're utilizing volunteers to deliver directly to their doorsteps.
So it goes right, it's like Meals on Wheels. Prior to the first year of Beer, Brats, and Bourbon, what did you guys know about bourbon?
Oh, this is such a great question. I knew I liked whiskey. I had no idea I had a love for bourbon.
You've developed a love.
Yeah.
Chad,
You call it
yes,
love.
kudos to you. Cheers.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
I remember when Sherry came back and she was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this bourbon fundraiser." I was like, "Why? Like,
What do we know about bourbon?
Like, could we rhyme something with whiskey?" But yeah, I also didn't like bourbon, and actually, we were fortunate enough to go on a trip to Kentucky our first year prior to the event, and I feel like that's kind of where our love really blossomed for bourbon.
Absolutely.
We learned about the creation of bourbon, and it was really serendipitous because our event was also very hands-on and locally curated, and we were utilizing the things that we had at our access to create this really, really fun, fine, spirited event, kind of like a bourbon.
We were inspired by Kentucky.
We were
So-
inspired.
You want to give a shout out to some of the people in Kentucky that you met and said, hey, this distillery, be it, I know Four Roses was at one of
Four
your
Roses
events.
has been just amazing.
Amazing to us.
Yes. And I mean, I could give love to all of them because you never know, Chad, to your point, like how those experiences are going to tie back into, like, I don't know, something I'm going to try next, something we're going to bring into the event.
Yep.
When we were just sharing with you our experience at Willett Distillery, like it wasn't even on my bucket list, and I would totally go back. It was absolutely beautiful.
So they're giving love to the distilleries.
Yeah.
Distilleries, if you're out there listening, give some love back. Okay, FOCP, Beer Brats and Bourbon Backpack Food Program, send them a bottle. Send them something that they unique that they may be able to auction off. You know, it's helping the kids. That's what it's for.
I have a question. At least one more question, and that's tell us about this year's event. What have you got lined up?
Yes. So we learned a lot last year. You had asked the question how the pandemic affected Beer Brats and Bourbon. Well, we had to make a very last minute decision last year, as you both know, to switch to 100% virtual, which we weren't quite sure how we were going to still interact with folks, and it ended up being our best year yet. So thanks to all of you that might be watching that have continued to attend the event in person and virtually. We love you. What we learned through that, though, is that that's something we can carry forward. And so the event is going to look a little different, and that we will have a smaller number of people on site. But again, you can join us virtually. We're still going to have all of those key pieces that you love, which are fine bourbon spirits.
Brats.
We have the best brats. Grilled fare. Music this year. We have the Shackletons coming down from the Metro, and Eric Koskinen headlining. Which
For those of you that don't know, we are based in Minnesota, about an hour outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So when we talk about the Metro, that's what we're referring to. Just for you folks who aren't Minnesota natives.
Yes, thank you for that.
It's going to be awesome.
Well, yeah, we're going to have a stellar silent auction. I mean, everything that you've come to know and love for Beer Brats and Bourbon will be available in one way, shape, or form.
So, unfortunately, we lost a little bit of the filming with Sherry and Holly from Beer Brats and Bourbon. We had some technical difficulties, and I really didn't want to bother them again to come over and film again. So we just wanted to end this with a short segment saying, please donate to Beer Brats and Bourbon. It's a wonderful charity. Again, its dates are June 24th. If you're here in Minnesota, please come check it out. There's food, bourbon, beer, and live music.
Yeah, and I hope you got the gist of the whole thing, what it's really about. Great cause. And thanks again to Sherry and Holly for coming and filming part of that. Again, some technical difficulties at the end, but hopefully everyone got the idea.
We will have links down below to both the charity page for Beer Brats and Bourbon and the event page so that you can check it out. And if you can come, please come join us. We'll be there pouring drinks, and we'll be having a good time just like every year.
Okay.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Bourbon Doctors.
Remember to like and subscribe. Bourbon is for drinking.
Bourbon is for drinking.
Cheers.